Good evening. My name is BJ Hall, and I'd like to call this meeting to order. This is the Inland Wetland Commission meeting for the town of Monroe. It is June 28th, and the time is 7:08 p.m. Will everyone please stand and recite the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Take a roll call of the members of the commission and staff present during tonight's hybrid meeting. Please answer here or present. Starting with myself, BJ Hall, Secretary. Eric Lindstrom is away this evening. Keith Romano has not yet arrived this evening. Jim Stewart. Here. Ross Mastrococo.
Master Rocco.
Master Rocco.
Here.
Out of practice. I like it the other way. Ryan Kelly.
Here.
Rick Schultz.
Present.
Planning and Zoning Administrator. Cheryl Valerie.
Here.
Planning and Zoning Inland Wetland Enforcement Officer. And Sarah Stroud, Recording Secretary.
Here.
And Mr. Chairman, we have Special Land Use Counsel Vin Marino for the public hearing item.
Very good. I also see our engineer here tonight.
And we also have James DeMaio for,
Yep, present.
Okay. Before we start, I'll read our mission statement and how the meeting will proceed. The Inland Wetland Mission Statement is: the objective and purpose of the Inland Wetland Commission is to provide for the overall protection and preservation of the inland wetlands and watercourses within the town of Monroe. Please note that this meeting is being conducted utilizing electronic equipment in compliance with State Law Public Act 21-1. As such, this meeting is being recorded and will be available to the public in compliance with state law. If you are attending remotely, please remember to mute your microphone unless speaking. Anyone participating remotely should state their name and title at the outset of each occasion that that person is speaking. All votes taken during which any member of this body are participating remotely shall be taken by roll call unless the vote is unanimous. And the chat features will not be utilized nor considered during this meeting. In the normal course of our meetings, we will hear public hearings and other applications. Protocol for public hearings is to have an applicant make a presentation to the commission, during which and after which the commission will be asking the applicant questions. I ask that the applicants keep their presentations as concise as possible. The commission will then review town, staff, and other independent comments. The meeting will then be open for public comment, and I will ask that all comments be made to the chair or commission. After any and all comments pro, in opposition of, or of a general nature are made, the applicant will be given an opportunity to respond. Please keep comments and questions direct, or a time limit of 3 minutes may be imposed. It is not necessary that the applicant respond, but generally in their best interest to do so. There will be no further opportunity for new questions unless new material is entered in as evidence or testimony during their response. Please keep all comments, pro and con, specific to inland wetlands related matters. Other applications that do not involve a public hearing will follow a similar format, with the exception that there will be no public comments allowed. The meeting follows our published agenda unless otherwise amended. Are there any other changes to the agenda?
none, Mr. Chairman.
Very good. We will start. Ready to start? Yes, okay. Public hearing. IWC-2023-03, file 1439, 139, 141, and 201, Turkey Roost Road and 30 Cobblers Hill Court. This is the proposed construction of 99 single-family detached dwellings served by a community wastewater treatment system with proposed regulated activities in the upland review area. Quarry Ridge Associates LLC is the owner applicant. Edwards and Associates LLC is the representative. Applicant requested a public hearing at submission.
And that was denied, Mr. Chairman. We'll remove that for future items.
Very good.
Mr. Chairman, I have the call of the hearing, notification of public hearing, June 28th, 2023. This was published twice in the Voices regarding 139, 141, and 201 Turkey Roost Road and 30 Cobbler's Hill Court. Proposed construction of 99 single-family detached dwelling served by a community wastewater treatment system with proposed regulated activities in the upland review area. Quarry Ridge Associates LLC, applicant J. Edwards and Associates LLC. And that is all. And there are several exhibits, Mr. Chairman. One is the application and plan set. Number two, Health Department comments. Number three, engineering comments. That is all, Mr. Chairman.
Very good. And I understand we'll hear from Mr. Russo.
Yes, Chair. Chris Russo with Russo and Rizzio LLC, offices at 10 Sasko Hill Road in Fairfield, Connecticut, here on behalf of the applicant. As we had discussed at the last hearing, the acceptance hearing, the plan was to open the hearing tonight, but then to immediately continue this hearing until a later date. So so right now I would just request the continuance of this hearing till I think it was the later meeting in July.
Is that correct, Rick?
That is correct, Mr. Chairman.
We need to vote.
No, Mr. Chairman.
Okay.
And a side note, as the commission instructed staff to engage in a contract with Arcadius, we have our consultant watching the meeting tonight, and we'll be reviewing the application as instructed. So everything is moving smoothly, Mr. Chairman.
Okay.
Should we be giving the public opportunity to speak tonight?
No. But this was requested by the applicant.
So this hearing is continued until that date in July. At this point, I will note that Keith Romano has arrived, and so. Yeah. Oh, okay. I just turned it over to you.
It's all done, right? Yeah. No, application
Hearing determination.
and that's going to correct. What do you think, yours?
Number we're at 4. Application hearing determination type of hearing. RDC 2023-04 file 1446 260 Spring Hill Road. Excavation and filling for upland review area for proposed future development of building driveway, parking area, Eldorado Holdings LLC, owner applicant. Is T-Cell representative and. Oh.
Yeah. Is Rose Tiso here as representative?
It's an excavation and fill permit, and it's on a commercial property. So I'm just giving factually that information, and they can make the determination if they want to have a public hearing or have it be a regular application.
I move that we go to a public hearing due to its location and proximity to the wetlands and its potential impact.
We have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous?
I'm just wondering, do we get comments now about it, or do we just wait till?
What we will do is, Keith, now that it is scheduled for a public hearing, when we open that public hearing, a date to be scheduled,
The next agenda meeting is July 26th. That's our next meeting.
July 26th, we will hear the application, and then after that, after the questions go back and forth, then you will be allowed to speak. So but we have finished with that for tonight.
Thank you.
Back to you, sir.
Thank you. During the meeting, no public input, nothing. IWR 2023-01, file number 143755, Meadowbrook Road. Gorgeous proposed remediation restoration plan, a result of clearing and disturbance of a wet and a water course continued from 6/14/23.
Mr. Chairman, this was the result of there's a remediation application. The applicant had encroached into the wetland, supposedly cleaning up, cleared a little bit. He started on the last agenda on July 14th. The applicant had submitted a plan for restoration remediation. And the only comment that the commission had was at that time to, instead of putting riprap in the swale that's existing, to possibly, instead of having be such a significant impact, to put some kind of a seed mix, a wetland seed mix in there instead, to lessen the degree of impact. The applicant agreed to do that. And so you've been given a draft resolution. The deadline for finishing of work would be November 1st. Speaking with the engineer and as staff, we would suggest that the seed be put down during a low flow period to allow for proper establishment. So those are the conditions of approval that would be out of an ordinary from the normal conditions. So if you wanted to take it to a deliberation, you have draft resolution to approve.
Is there any other response from the town public works about that, right? Is that question asked?
I don't think that was requested for, I think we talked about it, but it wasn't something that the commission asked me to follow up on specifically with the town.
So I'll see if I can answer one of your questions. James DeMayo, town engineer. So in terms of, I'm trying to remember all of your questions now. One of the questions I know was in terms of maintenance responsibility, if it falls under the municipality or private. Typically, the standard maintenance would fall under the municipality in terms of keeping it clear and free from debris. One of the things that we also discussed in the last meeting was talking about the installation of something such as a plunge pool or riprap. The municipality would not typically do any actions such as that. That would be at the sole discretion of the property owner if they wanted to do something above and beyond.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember, was there anything else?
No, that was it. It was just to see if they would do any portion of it, but apparently not. So that's good. All right, that's so we just gonna deliberate on that. So we'll make a motion.
A motion to move to deliberation.
Commissioner Kelly,
I second.
second Commissioner Hall, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, now we're on to deliberation session. Deliberation on complete hearings. The action's agenda is determined by the commission. So this is the only one, right? Okay.
Correct.
Okay, so how does everybody feel about that plan?
which would be for the agent to develop the conditions for.
Well, the conditions were submitted in the draft resolution, and the only ones that were out of the ordinary in the conditions were that it's finished by November 1st, so that the site is stabilized at that point, and it's at the end of the planting season.
Hey, you guys are muted.
Desist order issued 6/2/23, continuing from 6/14/23.
Mr. Chairman, this is on your last agenda to be discussed. We opened a show cause cease and desist order hearing. The applicant has since submitted yesterday a partial restoration remediation plan into one of the encroached areas on the property done by a landscape architect. And the site's been walked by, oh, what happened?
No, I'm sharing the,
Oh, you're sharing the content?
yeah.
And the site was walked by myself. It was walked by Mr. Jason Edwards and Mr. Stephen Panzer. And I would note that the bond is in place fully for the permit that was given initially. And the property, the permit has been transferred to the new property owner as well. The cease and desist order, when it comes before you, it actually has to be voted to close. So the commission would have to vote to either uphold the cease and desist and keep it in place, to modify it, or just to revoke it if you think that the problems have been remedied. So tonight that you'd have to vote on one of those three things after the applicants have been here to talk to you about it.
Not really that much for me to show, so.
Let me try it again.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, we've have, tonight, two things are going on. It's muting itself automatic. And now we're trying the sharing using the laptop. I'm going to try it again. We've had difficulties in the past. It's faulty wiring.
Continue without it, you guys have to plan it. So as Cheryl said, after the last hearing or meeting, Steve Danzer and I went out the next day and walked the site. Prior to that, I had my crew, survey crew, go out, restake the entire disturbance limits so we could see exactly where that was. So they put in probably 100 stakes around the in general, he was pretty close to within it. There was a few spots where he was slightly over, but he was really quite close. There was some silt fence missing in the rear. I spoke with the owner. He installed the silt fence completely surrounding the site. There was one spot left that I did not get back to see, but I think he said that he did put it in. Steve Danzer accompanied me on that walk. He didn't see anything that was in a direct impact to the wetlands that was, of any new consequence. There was, during the original approval, it was discovered that there was a portion of wetlands that had been filled prior to my clients buying the property in the rear. And that's what that remediation plan was initially submitted for, was to restore that area, post-construction. So when we got out there this time, the first time this was done, there was still snow on the ground. We couldn't see that filled area as well as we could now. So Tracy, the landscape architect, in reviewing it, she decided that she wanted to expand that planting area a little bit to make sure it encompassed the the entire fill area that had been previously installed there. So that's where the remediation plan comes from. We also then had another walk on Monday. And unfortunately, Cheryl and us couldn't get together to get out there at the same time, but we all walked on the same day. There was a few more comments she had regarding the silt fencing that were corrected. There was some piles of material, those were related to the construction that were within the work area, which I didn't really see a big issue with. The one issue that is kind of outstanding, the site, when he first started, there was a large accumulation of soil. It must have been topsoil that the owner had been piling in the back. It was right where the parking lot's going to go. So he had to move that pile. The original plan didn't account for that and did not have a stockpile area identified on it. What he did was he took it and screened it, and there's an area in the upland review area that he created a stockpile. I actually got that sketch I can show you. Some of the page that we didn't have here.
I'll pass it out for you.
So page 1 is the same as what we have. Page 2 is the stockpile area. So let's take a look at it. There's a purple area there that is the approximate limits of that stockpile I'm talking about. I think there's two ways to approach it. We could either ask him to go in and remove that topsoil and relocate it to another part of the site, or leave it in place. There's silt fence around it. It's protected. My opinion, going in and running machinery to move it all out of there is going to be more of a disturbance than just leaving it alone and not adding any more to it. When the time comes that, he needs to place the topsoil, it'll get moved and the ground will be restored beneath it. But that's the commission's decision, obviously. If you'd like to see it move now, we can have them move it now and, provide a restoration plan of that area to staff for review. I think that was all that I had. Stephen Danzer, yes, he is up there. He's available if anyone has any questions about what he saw out there. To answer. I believe he also spoke with Cheryl. Any questions, I'll be happy to.
So you're suggesting you leave the 12 inches of soil in there?
Well, just temporarily until the construction. He's going to need topsoil for the site to finish his final site work.
When would that occur?
He's working on it. He's trying to get it done. Do you have a timeline? This is Yuri, the property owner.
Within the next 2 years?
Okay, I wouldn't support waiting 2 years to pull it out and plant it. I think it's gotta get done this season.
Is there anything growing in it now?
I don't think so. No. I mean, does it have any grass on top of it? Some weeds, but nothing that's substantial. That's you could seed it to keep it in place, I suppose. That was.
So it is stable. It's not washing out or anything.
No, I didn't see any evidence of it washing out. We haven't had a ton of rain lately, but I went out there 2 different occasions. And there was no evidence of direct runoff into the brook that's right there. That's well protected with a silt fence.
It's topsoil or subsoil?
Topsoil, I believe. It was screened, so he took that big pile that was there and screened it down to a smaller pile. Placed it there.
That shed is still there?
Yeah. I believe that's the same shed. Yeah.
Cheryl, when you went out there, what were your thoughts?
When I was out there, one of the things I noted was the new proposed stockpile index in pink is already there. That upland review area between those 2 wetland pockets has been, driven in. It's disturbed, and it's the upland review area. It's supposed to be a buffer, and there was supposed to be a limit of disturbance across the entrance to that on the original plan. So that's been breached, and it's there. The other ones were just the silt fence being properly anchored or issues. And then just in general, where the silt fence was, it seems like it's just along the perimeter of it has been encroached in certain pockets, not just the one that they came in with the landscaping plan, which is good, obviously. And I also had a question about there was a stockpile that I saw on Monday that I think I might have mentioned to Steve, but I'm not sure. Right to the right of this wetland flag, number 16, there was a stockpile of material, some kind of process that, as I understand, is going to be used in the parking area, and it looked like it had some kind of different kinds of fill and material in it, and I wasn't sure if that was something that the commission might be interested to find out what was in it before it goes in, in such proximity to the wetland itself. So that came up on Monday. And as you know, they have an outstanding permit, so if you wanted to have them come in to modify the permit or just have them come in with a new restoration plan, that could be an option as well to add to the file.
I think I'd like to know that my client's trying to get this work done during the dry season, and we're kind of right in the beginning of it. So whatever we can do so he can get back working, we'll be happy to do. Wants to keep it active so he doesn't lose it.
So any other questions?
Can you explain this new proposed stockpile area again? I'm sorry, I'm not.
That's the pile I was referring to that he screened. There was, if you want me to show you where exactly where it's at. If you look in the middle of the site on the site plan.
See this existing contours, you can kind of see it there. There's a pile there. That all had to come down.
Yeah.
So he basically took that material out to set the grade, screened it, and placed the stockpile here. So I'm calling it used, it's in the upland review area, not the wetlands. This is wetlands here.
Oh.
It's definitely area.
Oh,
It's definitely
okay.
review.
Oh, okay.
It's probably 20 feet
Yeah.
maybe away from the wetlands.
This is it. You can see it right here. So you see this little like V shape? That little V shape is that. So this stockpile area is this. And there's wetlands on both sides of it. Right, there's wetlands here, and then in the middle is that this whole upland review area has been.
Which letter are you talking, which picture are you looking at?
It's E and D. We still have them, so that's awesome.
Jason, the area that you have
This-
is permanent.
It's
Not completely filled with topsoil, just
And now there's
that's
silt
just
fence
the
in
area.
Yeah,
It's like at the far end of it.
This pile is that.
Yeah, it's just a pile of topsoil. It's not a full, I'm just designating that area.
There's that stockpile. And just, so
You said there was a
basically,
separate pile as well? Something
There's
else?
one
Say that?
pile.
Did I hear that?
Probably bigger.
this one pile is
Yeah, area.
in here. They're supposed to have a silt fence right here to cover this all off, this whole upland review area.
It's right next to this.
Nice buffer for the wetland.
Yep.
And it's been breached. Then the plan this plan
Shed's like right there.
right here,
That looks like it's quite a ways away.
what's over here. So there's an encroachment over here.
This is more in there than.
No, it's just this picture. That's it. I just showed a bigger area because I wanted to
Area.
be able to move around in there with stuff.
They expanded back behind the shed and all of it. So,
That makes sense. Okay. Thank you.
So that's not water next to this?
this is a water course right here.
There's an intermittent water course that runs underneath that whole area.
He's closer than 20 feet to the wetlands.
With the purple line, but if you look at the photo Keith just showed, it's farther away than I drew it on that plan, probably. I drew it
Doesn't
on.
look like it looks like it's right there.
It's right there. It's
Because
right
that's how
there.
it got to pile back there.
It's right.
But the pile is farther, you can see that pile.
Well, I understand, but it looks like he filled all the way in. No?
I think that's a fill hedge there, honestly.
It's been
I don't know, it looks like the tree's been filled.
I can't see
Yeah,
that.
and the silt fence was originally supposed to go right here. It's supposed to go kind of right across this area, right across this area, right in front of the wetlands, and right across here.
So, well, there is silt fence there. I mean,
Not, I mean,
across here there is.
correct, but not here.
It's not,
Now it's silt fenced over here.
yeah, you ran along the edge of the.
Correct. But this upland review area that was supposed to be a buffer to the wetlands and water courses is
Not there anymore.
not there. So that's part of it, you know.
So we have, pension basin has been constructed yet, is it in
It's under
progress?
construction, yeah, so.
And is that topsoil gonna be used to
20 feet.
for the plantation pension basin? So Is there more topsoil that's needed to do that detention basin? I mean, why can't it be, so that's gonna be all consumed in the basin?
Yeah, I mean.
When you plan on finishing the basin?
Yeah, the next few
That's the
months.
first one.
Yeah.
That's the first thing to be done.
Yeah, so as soon as you.
Topsoil is gonna be gone, and you can restore out this purple place by end of September, end of August?
Yeah.
End of September.
Is that too?
Yeah, I would say September would probably be realistic, yeah.
Right end of September.
End of September. So if that pile's gone and it's restored, and the purple area is basically out of play, by end of September,
Yeah,
are we good with that?
well, if he has time to plant.
I mean, yes, he's talking about finishing and placing. He doesn't have to plant, he just has to restore that section.
Yeah,
If there's plantings in the basin, that doesn't,
no, I'm talking about
right,
this
that's
other
still under
area as well.
construction. But I'm talking about,
But the restoration and plantings in the areas that have been disturbed beyond limit of disturbance, is that what you're speaking about particularly?
I'm particularly talking about the topsoil pile that was another encroachment.
Right.
That recently happened.
Right.
That's going to be, everything else seems, if the silt fence is where it's supposed to be, everything inside the silt fence is now in the construction zone,
Correct.
right? But he breached out of the construction zone to do this fill pile, so we want to just.
Well, he's got two issues, right? I mean, we got two locations we got problems, correct?
Let's just talk about this one. Okay. Right?
Which one?
The one that we're talking about right now, which is about this pile of topsoil.
Okay.
That's stockpiled in the upland review area, which shouldn't have been put there.
Yeah.
If within the next 2 months or whatever, 10 weeks, whatever it is, okay, if he's gonna have that placed inside the construction zone now.
Yeah.
Inside his silt fence.
Yeah.
And then he could restore that section that's now the purple. Now, all his activities are within his limited disturbance now. Then we should be happy, right? If the erosion control is all met, any damage outside of his limited disturbance has been resolved, and this pile of topsoil is now in place somewhere on the project, he should be back in line with what he needs, where he needs to be, right?
In those two areas, right, that area and then this area as well. So would you, okay, when would you like to have those completed? Meaning,
What's the other thing? Because the report that we just heard was that all the silt fence is where it's supposed to be now, right?
they are in and hopefully they are installed correctly, yes.
Okay. So that part of it's been determined, that's figured out. To solve, at least we know what the problem is, we know how to solve it, whether it's there yet or not. Then, is there any other violation besides this topsoil pile at this point?
And the encroachment in the back, behind the shed, that they came in with a restoration plan for.
That's a bonded post-construction item that was part of the original application. We expanded it slightly because we felt the area was larger than we originally thought. But it was part of the original application, so to do it now would not make a lot of sense because you're gonna be working in that area still.
So it's this piece right here, the darker line and the shading is new activity? This is new activity?
Well, that was
A smaller area that had been originally
approved by you guys. There was a plan that was part of the original application that was,
there's a revision date on this. It went about 5 feet inside of the property. Do you have a copy of that, Cheryl?
That one?
so what Tracy,
What's the difference between where you got the hash marks and then where it's just clear?
That is the area that the wetlands had been filled, not by my client.
at the previous owner.
This,
Oh,
Yes,
so that's
yeah.
part of the wetland remediation, the rest of this is regular construction.
Exactly, yeah, the rest of that's all the approved construction. So that remediation
I
was,
see this, that's silt fence, right?
yep,
So there's silt fence, there's another silt fence behind
yeah,
it.
we got 2 rows of silt fence there, yeah. To protect that lower part during that remediation work.
Okay, all right.
you're saying this was all impacted prior to,
Just a plan to go around that area.
When we first looked at the site, it was in the middle of winter, when Tracy went out there to look at it, and she felt that she,
I mean, that could be part of the permit, and then the stockpile that's in the upland review is not part of that.
Okay.
There's a bond in place.
and to restore that area.
so you're not planning on planting this, all these, any of these for another 2 years?
Once the construction is done, we plan on planting.
which was the original permit. His permit's still valid for.
Yeah. Well, I guess I would have no problem waiting until September, but I think you should remove all the fill, including this area in advance of the fall. And if he wants to plant that according to his permit, then he does that later on.
Whether it's not him, but that's the only violation that we have, right?
There's
Except for
the,
the current fill that was encroached in the upland.
right, this part here. So that would be something,
This part in the shade is the only wetlands violation that he
it's
inherited.
encroaching in the wetlands, yes.
Right. And now we have, this silt fence is now installed, and this silt fence, we have the 2 silt fence
He's definitely up to one. I don't know if he has.
in the back.
The one in the back.
Well, I mean, and is the fill still out there in the wetlands? Has that been, it's gotta, some fill's gotta get pulled out, right?
The fill's still there. Yeah, nothing.
Still there. Do you need the fill on the site for other things? Is it possible to do that little piece in the same time frame in the next 3 months? So that now you're no longer gonna be operating in the wetlands. And if this other topsoil is out of there, now you have all your barriers up, there's really no reason for you to ever go in the wetlands again on this project. And I think we'll make the whole thing, be a little more on the up and up, It's only 2 trees and a couple little shrubs, and it's done. Then you can put your silt fence on this wetlands line, or to the other line, I should say to the other line, the other silt fence line, and then now the place is kind of cleaned up environmentally, it's done.
Yeah,
And you have to do what you want to do to complete the rest of the project.
So you're saying fill out by the end of September in both locations? Did you want plantings by the end of September in both locations?
He's got to restore the area that's, anything outside of this silt fence has to be restored, whether it's a seed mix or this part of the planting. You understand what I mean? So this part of the planting in here, so then with this silt fence in, all the wetlands is out of play.
Right.
Everything behind it's done, there's no reason to go in the wetlands again.
And how about
It's
this?
not part of the project.
And how about that area?
Same thing. That topsoil is going to be used, we just discussed it. In the construction of his detention basin in the back, he's going to consume that topsoil.
There's
So
no
don't-
restoration plan on record because there was never a plan to go into that area. So would you like a separate restoration plan is kind of what my question is
Do
actually.
we have,
Well, that's all, it's not wetland soil.
It's upland review area, so
So, I mean, I would say that depending on what it looks like once he's removed it.
well, is there any seed mix in the other area?
And we could get a seed mix from the landscape
I'm
architect.
asking, is there a seed mix in here
I'm sure there is, yeah.
to cover this? It's not going to be all mulch, right? So there's got to be something.
Well, the restoration area,
This area.
there is something specified on there, yeah.
Just use the same stuff.
Yeah. If there's a problem with that, we'll.
I'm sure there's a seed mix that's appropriate. I'm sure there is, yeah.
Right, it's on the plan for this area, and just do the area behind the shed where you encroach.
Okay, so September 30th, and that will be,
That works, right?
okay, so now, if that's the last of it, then the commission should vote to close the hearing and either uphold it, modify it, or revoke it. So the commission,
The three,
to uphold it, so keep the cease and desist in place.
right.
Modify it, so that's, changing it but keeping it in place, or revoking it, saying that,
I think it's pretty obvious.
Motion?
Is that, we do that at this moment, because we're in deliberation. No, we're not in deliberation. We have,
still, you're just in the middle of a cease and desist hearing that has to be closed. And with that, a decision to either keep the cease and desist in place, modify it, or to revoke it.
and the conditions of revoking it has already been established?
Yes, so the conditions would be
That in the motion.
by September 30th, those 2 spots are, the fill is removed and restored, and silt fence is placed in front of them by September 30th.
Okay, so make a motion to revoke with those conditions?
Make a motion that we revoke the cease and desist order with conditions as just described by.
A motion by Commissioner Hall to revoke with conditions. A second?
A second.
Second by Commissioner Massaraga. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. All right. I guess we're on to,
Does that motion formally close the hearing? That's
I closed the hearing, yes. We actually have to put a legal in the paper on it, so yeah.
duly authorized agent report, 84 William Henry Drive, proposed shed adjacent to wetlands to determine permit height.
Mr. Chairman, at the last meeting, I asked the commission to clarify when the commission would like to see an application or when it should be done by an agent, or an agent approval. And the commission had specified that if it was within 25 feet of a wetland, that they would like to see it and comment on it. In your packets that were delivered to you, there was a soil report with a map showing a property, residential property that has a wetland. And on that property, from the picture I just submitted, an applicant has already put in a 12 by 24 foot slab in preparation for a shed. And then came in for the zoning approval, and then we realized that there's a wetland there. So the gentleman wants to do everything correct and wants the commission's comments on it. So from the picture, you can see there's a wetland flag. I've circled it. It's 12 feet from the foundation, the slab, and then 7 feet from the rear. So right now, 7 feet off the back and 12 feet off the side of the wetland. So it's within that 25 feet, and he wants to put a shed in.
Is it pre-existing slab or is it?
He put it in preparation and then realized he needed a permit and came in to try to do things correctly on the up and up.
12 feet, it's within the proper property line.
The setbacks seem to be in compliance with zoning, yes. We have a 25-foot setback, and we think that it complies. The applicant is very comfortable moving it forward, so increasing the distance from 7 feet towards the front of the property line. But he wants to try to keep it as close to the left side property line as possible to maintain the use of his rear yard for his family.
And this is sand and gravel off to the right side of it. Is that what we're seeing, a pile of?
It's actually right in front of it. To the left side, it's a little bit of gravel and wood chips on the left side, yeah.
Well, it's not in the wetland.
No, it's not.
It's awfully close.
What's he putting in the shed?
I'm not sure.
Shed stuff?
Shed stuff, single-family residence things, I'm hoping, yes. I gotta put my zoning hat on for that one. But right, so in.
How big is his yard?
I
mean, is this like 300 feet from his house where he's got plenty of space, or is it?
Well, I mean.
Like right in his backyard?
Actually, I put a copy of the soil report in your packets. Shows it. My handwriting's terrible, but 7 feet off the back of the white dotted line is the setback from where it's located from the wetland line, and 12 feet off the side. So that's where it is right now. And it's basically in line with his driveway. So it's like your driveway ends and then you just walk over to his shed. So in theory, it makes sense, but it is within 25 feet of a wetland. So I'm bringing it to you.
move or let staff deal with this.
Let staff deal with it.
Do have a
You making a motion on that?
where is the door going to be?
Facing the driveway, facing the front property is my understanding, yes. Wouldn't be facing the wetland, so.
I mean,
I wasn't sure if you wanted to move it closer to,
so my question is,
step back from 7 feet.
so the wetland, there's a little narrow finger of wetlands, but the majority of the wetlands is obviously behind it.
Correct.
Thing is, so if he was to do markers and a flag, maybe like a restaurant, like a planting on the side to so he's going to enter here, activities here, but everything else is going to be stored in there, but give it like a little bit
So
of.
you want wetlands markers? What you're saying?
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Wetland markers.
So basically, he's got his door to the shed, And that's probably close to 25 feet away at that point. And just something to keep it so that, you know,
He doesn't start storing things behind the shed.
yeah, like that. So nothing gets
Okay.
back, so that, and markers at the 25-foot mark. So he's not doing anything, you know.
25 feet from, I'm sorry, 25 feet.
I don't know. I can't
Usually
tell
wetland
this
markers-
picture What he has there. Is it woods? Is it, you know, what, these are the wetlands markings, right?
Right.
White line. Okay, so this,
And here's the slab. So there's a wetland flag right here. That's the
Right.
12 feet and then 7 feet. It's like right back here. So it's just kind of like shrubs and then it drops off.
but
Existing.
what's 25 feet up? Is that anything he's using or is it kind of natural?
It's kind of, it's his yard. He's using it. Yeah, it's all grass.
So this is
in that
all
area,
grass, right
yeah.
to the wetlands line?
Pretty much. I don't have a picture of the rest of the yard, but it's just, it kind of just it becomes wild and then
Flat.
just drops off back there. Yeah. where the wetland is.
Okay. Well, something just to keep, like you said, just getting using the back of the shed, you know, we would have probably normally let it be that close, maybe, maybe not, you know, we didn't really follow the
Right. Well,
path.
that's
We
the
don't want to
thing.
make it move it, but, you know, if the entrance is there at the front and a little bit of just, you know, create some buffer, some naturalization in that,
So a small planting plan and some wetland markers and we're good?
yeah,
Okay.
that's my opinion.
That's a poured foundation, right, for this shed?
You know what's funny is it looks poured, but he said he could move it forward. So I'm not sure how that would happen, but that's what I would think.
Yeah, it seems like, how do you move a?
I didn't get that far. Okay, so I understand. Okay.
We are. Now we are at.
Moving along.
Full park improvements up to
Okay. Here we are. Wolf Park improvement update.
So, Mr. Chairman, the update is that the property was tested on June 1st by an LEP. There were 7 test sites. There were 6 along the path and 1 south of the path as a control background collection. And the results came back that the threshold was 1 milligram per kilogram. And they all came in under the threshold except 1, and the limit that was above was like 0.2. It was 0.2 above the limit. So other than that, they came back in compliance except for a 0.2 overage. And the location of that test pit was test pit 1, and it's actually right on the 100-foot wetland upland review setback location. I have a map if anybody's interested to show where the test pit locations were.
What are they testing for?
Well, the fill that was brought in had material in it that was not part of the plan, and there were concerns that some of it might have contamination issues. And
What was it, when you say 0.2, what?
so there's a deep standard criteria for remediation. And
What is it? PCBs?
they tested for many things.
Oh, okay.
Right. What came back, what was 0.2 over was a PAH, which is,
Oh, okay.
yeah. So which is commonly, found when you have, smoking byproduct residue, exhaust fumes, things like that. The test holes were 1.5 feet down. All of the material was taken out off the site already. There was geotech fabric. It came right out. And now there is the geotech fabric down and the new virgin material up to test pit 2, and they have not covered test pit 1 yet. They want to just let you know what came back, and if there are no further concerns, they were going to fill over test pit 1.
Okay. All right. We have minutes.
There are no minute submissions, right?
No minutes,
No
Mr.
minutes.
Chairman.
Okay. Regulation Amendment Committee. I don't think we have anything there. Public Outreach Committee, I don't think we have anything there. And we now have to, I make a motion to adjourn. Want to recognize unless you already did before I got here, but thank BJ for his time with us. BJ, thank you.
You did not go stay with us?
Yeah, he's moving. I'm sure.
Did I miss them?
Yeah, you weren't here the last couple of meetings.
Oh, man, okay.
So yeah, you missed something.
I missed something. I know. Where's the cake?
I was.
Hey, spring cake? We're going to celebrate in New Hampshire.
We're gonna celebrate right after he leaves.
Tonight's the last night, BJ?
Tonight is my last night.
Big round of applause for DJ.
Been a pleasure.
It's been fun. Now, now we need a secretary, and what else were you? Re-regulation amendment committee too?
Yes.
All right, so now make a motion for adjournment.
Yeah.
We need this,
For the last one?
do we need to say officially that they, do we need to speak to the test pit ones? Do we need to say anything about that?
It was
They
just,
said they were waiting, it was just letting us know and we could object.
there were no further concerns.
Yeah, okay.
It's been in their hands the whole time anyways, since, all right, do it, BJ, give us the motion.
Make a motion, we adjourn?
Motion to adjourn from Commissioner Hall,
I'll second.
second from Commissioner Kelly, all in favor? Aye. This meeting closes at 7:59.
All right.